podcast and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Craig Morgan and Steve Peters. Happy Canada Day!
Happy Canada Day! And boy, do we have something to celebrate Canada Day.
Canada.
What's that on the table there, Petey?
They can't see
Can
it.
they see that?
No.
Can you hold that up,
They
Petey,
can't.
so that people can see what that is? Oh,
It's
it's
a
a toaster. That's
toaster.
interesting.
I'm already nervous.
Things to come.
Oh,
Things
I'm
to
actually
come.
excited about it because I swear I'm hungry because we were supposed to be on at 11 and then we're not at 12. So you don't really have lunch before. So I'm hungry.
Well,
I'm hungry too, although I did have a little bag of Nutter Butters.
The last
sure you
bag
Tied me
of
over.
Nutter
The
Butters.
last, that's right.
Well,
Had my name on it.
you guys did not dress very festive. You're both wearing black. I'm wearing my Canada shirt.
I'm black for you, Leah,
The
because
land
we know what's coming.
of long winters. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I wore this because when I eat this maple syrup later, what
It
doesn't
may.
kill you makes you stronger.
But it may kill you. so.
It may kill me, especially all that high fructose corn syrup. But we'll get to
corn
that
syrup.
a little later in the show. Me finally catching it on, I was going to say on the bet, but it's not a bet. It was just a promise. And I'm
At
going
least
to.
somebody here.
Some of us keep our
Some of us
promises
keep
on
our
this show.
promises, PD.
I know, that's what I heard.
Others do not.
Some
But
people do.
it's just funny because we were supposed to do this weeks ago and it got pushed off. And then today was the first day we could do it. And it just happens to be Canada Day, which
So
is,
it's appropriate.
it's treason. Are they going to let me in the country next week? Like, I might be pulled into another room and,
Dude, I don't want to go
and
down
Craig
this
and
path.
Jacob are going to say,
I don't want to go down this path. I'm already angsting about
See
it.
ya.
I'm afraid of canceled
Yeah,
flights.
I would
so-
say this after traveling all over for the last month. Thank God I don't have to do it, and thank God I don't have to cross the border. Good luck with that.
Thanks, buddy.
Because they do, I don't know if you noticed, they do cancel flights.
okay, enough.
Just saying.
No,
I have a good track record on this too.
stop.
You can go through all my tweets, like
Where are you
my
flying
history.
through?
Denver.
Denver.
Oh.
You can always sleep at the
Well,
bar.
Stanley
if
Cup
Yeah,
all
we
else
could
fails.
sleep at the DNVR bar
Yep.
if we
Yeah.
need to.
Okay. Can you drive from Denver?
From Denver to Montreal?
Probably won't make it in
Eh,
time. Never mind.
Well, we're gonna get to the maple syrup a little bit later, but the reason our show is at noon today, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, by the way, is because Bill Armstrong spoke to the media this morning at 11. So he had some comments ahead of next week's draft, which rounds 2 through 7 are 1 week from today, which is insane. A week from now, we'll know the first 3 picks in the 2022 draft by the Arizona Coyotes, which is insane to think about already. But we got to talk to Bill, and we have some clips from the interview as well. Craig, before we get into the specifics, is there any takeaways that you have from Bill's comments?
Well, we're going to talk about a couple of these.
Yeah.
Like, one is the realistic timeline for contending for a cup, because I hear this all the time. Well, the Coyotes will have a couple good drafts. They'll bounce out of this. They'll move into the new arena, and they'll compete for a cup. No, that's not how it works. It takes much longer than that to compete for a cup. The positive thing that you should take from all this, or at least the hope that you should have right now, is that maybe in a few years this can be a playoff team again, which to me would be great for this market because it doesn't happen very often, especially when you don't have playoff bubbles, Petey. So, maybe they can get to the point in a few years where they're actually in a playoff spot. And that's probably enough for, I think, Coyotes fans, as long as they see that it's building towards something more. But don't expect this team to win a cup in 3 years. Just look through history at the history of rebuilds. It just doesn't happen that fast. I think Pittsburgh's like the quickest in like 6 years. They did it once they drafted Marc-Andre Fleury. And then, of course, it really helps to win the lottery multiple years. You get Marc-Andre Fleury, you get Evgeny Malkin, and you get Sidney Crosby.
But I think the difference, and I think the biggest issue here is coming out of the rebuild and competing for a Stanley Cup are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
For me, they are.
Yeah.
And I think we've been in this, since the Coyotes have been in Arizona, there have been stretches where they were a playoff team several years in a row. And I think as a fan, if you see that kind of progress, that's fine. We're
Yep.
just not, we're not 25th to 32nd. Okay. And we're not winning the cup. Okay. But that last week of the season, we're playing meaningful games that might get us into the playoffs. That's going the right direction. You get into the playoffs, and maybe you have to play the number 1 team in the West, or by then maybe the East. Who knows where the Coyotes end up? But
Everyone's moving conferences.
Atlantic
by
Division.
then that's good. I mean, again, it's as long as you're making positive steps toward an end goal. Competing for a Stanley Cup, you're right. Like we talked about Stamkos, it was 10 or 11 years. I mean, it's 10 or 11 years. That's what it is.
Yep.
Sorry, it's a long time, but it doesn't mean Connor McDavid's through to the second round this year. It's not 10 years.
Right.
So you can have positive steps. You can be a competitive playoff team. You can make the playoffs. And we know a good goaltender, a few lucky breaks, things can happen. Like the LA Kings were Stanley Cup champions. They didn't get into the last day of the season.
But you got to have elite players too. You got to have elite players.
Couldn't agree more.
Yep.
But I think there's a separate argument from getting through a rebuild and being competitive to win a Stanley Cup. By the way, there are very few teams that come out at the beginning of the year and go, okay, we're competitive and we're ready to win a Stanley Cup. Like very few. Like you can go, your window is open. And in beginning last season, the New York Rangers were not one of those teams. They make it to be one of the final four. Their window wasn't open yet. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it is.
Tampa and Colorado, we talked about it from day one.
Yeah.
So we know that. And there's teams that played good. Minnesota, okay, they're going to be a playoff team. Boston, yeah, they're a playoff team. But we didn't speak of them being Stanley Cup contenders at that point. So to say that when you're competing for a Stanley Cup, that's a big deal. And so, yeah, that's going to be a while.
Yep. Well,
Medicare. Greg, just saying.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Well,
those kind of
since we've kind of gotten into this conversation, let's actually see what Bill Armstrong had to say today on the rebuild timeline for the Coyotes.
The rebuild takes a long time. If you want true numbers, I think the quickest team to do it is probably, I think, Chicago. They didn't make the playoffs for 7 years. I think in their 8th year they won it. But normally rebuilds from Tampa Bay to Washington, the St. Louis Blues, is somewhere between 11 and 14 years to actually win the cup. But if you're going to make playoffs, you're looking at anywhere from 5 to 6 years out from the start of the time the rebuild starts. And so, that's the reality of it. But the good news is that, the way that we play right now, if you come to watch us, we play so damn hard. We're a competitive team on that ice every night. We're going to, basically run you through the boards and try and outwork you every way we can, and try to earn points and be a competitive organization. That's the good news on the front when you come watch us. And in the next few years, you're going to see some young, talented players and some hope being influxed into our organization. And then from that point on, there's a little bit of a lull where these guys have to mature and develop. And, they're going to be good players. It doesn't mean you're a good NHL team. And then when you kind of get over that hump in the 4th and 5th year, you get a chance to make the playoffs if you've got the right combination there. And like Chicago, it took them, 7 years to kind of get in there and do some damage. So it takes a little bit of time, but you have to be patient. But the good news is when you come see the Coyotes play, you're going to see hope.
You're going to see hope.
Keep hope alive.
Yep.
That's a word we use a lot.
Yep.
That's the theme for
we
next year.
should have a shirt that says hope for the Coyotes. One of the big thing for me that he said in there was you can have a lot of good NHL players, but it doesn't mean you have a good NHL team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the difference between a Stanley Cup winning team or a Stanley Cup contending team and just a good NHL team and a good playoff team is that's kind of the thing that makes the difference.
And the other thing to remember with those players is that progression is not linear. There will be, you might have a player, even a team, that takes a big step up this year, and you're like, okay, they're ready.
And then, like the Rangers,
then they take a step back.
The Rangers, the LA Kings, I think
the Rangers are my classic.
Yeah.
By the way,
regression team next year.
LA going all in. We thought they were kind of going to go through a mini rebuild, not a huge one, just a mini one, and then they trade away their first round pick this year. Yeah. I'm just shocked by that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into LA, but yeah, I'm not sure that was a wise move to commit that kind of money in term to Kevin Fiala, because I don't think that team's there. I don't think they're there. I don't think they're a cup contender, and I don't think Kevin Fiala puts them there. So not sure what they're thinking unless they're just looking at the Pacific Division and saying, hey, man, this division's wide open. We can win it.
Maybe.
Yep, but it is, it was interesting also just to hear him. And Craig asked the question. He said, you don't need to give me an exact timeline. And he was like, 9 to 14 years and 5 to 6 years all out. Great.
They looked at all this. They've mapped all this out.
Yeah. But, managing our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's important.
When you talk about playoffs, you're talking about a Coyote team that's in the Central Division. And you look across the Central Division, and it's still... that's why you say 5 or 6 years. The Colorado Avalanche window is wide open. Yeah. I mean, I know that you've got about Kadri and Kemper, and they've got some pieces they're going to have to re-sign. Totally get it. St. Louis Blues, Minnesota Wild, they're so much farther than where the Coyotes are right now. Like Winnipeg is ahead. Nashville, we'll see where Nashville ends up. But again, we put them all in a hat, and you pull them all out. Arizona's still towards the bottom. Chicago.
Yeah, well, Chicago's going to drop to the bottom. They're going to try really hard to drop to the bottom.
They're going to get rid of DeBrincat, and they're going to make some moves there too. So Again, the playoffs aren't happening next year, and they're maybe not happening the year after that.
Probably
But
not.
don't count them out that third year for me yet. Like that's you have a couple of good drafts and guys develop, and to me, it's going to be about the goaltender. They might sneak in or be a team that's on the precipice at 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
That third year, they go, oh gosh, they're playing meaningful games in the second half.
Yeah.
Still got to address that center position.
I mean,
That's what the draft is for.
that's what the
Craig.
draft is for.
Yeah.
That's why we're going to do a draft.
Yep. But
Yes, indeed.
and the one thing Bill also said is, if you watch the team now, and this is a team that finished 31st overall, like the team, they play hard still. They're a competitive team.
Mhm.
They have that competitive spirit, so I think that will benefit them down the line when they are actually competing for the playoffs down the road. But speaking of patience, Bill also talked about having patience when developing players, and we've talked a ton about the importance of developing players. And in the press conference, he made a really amazing comparison to kind of what it's like to develop a player and how you kind of have to approach it.
But where we're at right now, we can have patience. There might come to a time where we need the guy to play right away, but we don't want to really be in that scenario. We'd rather have our kids go through the process and earn it. I always say this about, you plant a tree, you can put the right nutrients around it and water it every single day. It's only going to grow so fast, and you got to have the patience to stay with it and let it grow properly and not try and rush it, because all you're going to do is kill the prospect in the midst of trying to pressure him and kind of get him to grow too quickly. So we got to have a process that we use in our American League and work their way up. And that way, when they get there, they'll get there at the right time.
Love the comparison to you can water it.
I like the tree. I like the tree
and you
analogy.
can give it all the proper nutrients, but it's still going to grow at the rate it's going to grow.
Yep.
But that brings up the talk. We talk about Dylan Guenther a lot.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be a question that comes up over his development over the next 3 months is what does a player like Dylan Guenther do who unfortunately didn't get to experience the Memorial Cup due to an injury? Is that more important to his development? Does he need to go back and do that? Or does he mire as I hate to say it, is he a bottom six forward in the National Hockey League playing 8-10 minutes a game? Does that help his development?
No, that's
No.
crazy to me. I wish there were AHL exceptions because he might be a guy, although maybe physically he's not yet, but there are guys who I think could play in the AHL at age 19, and I don't want to get into the whole NHL CHL agreement, which drives me crazy. But I don't think he belongs here next year. I mean, I'm not going to make the decision, and if he comes to camp and blows him away and earns a spot, they have to honor that. I get that. But yeah, you can't play him bottom six. He's got to play in your top six. You've talked about this before. You know what that means. That means more minutes. That means tougher matchups. Is he really ready for all of that? I still think that the best place for Dylan Guenther is to go back to the W for one
Yeah, and I
more
know
year.
it seems like it's forever, Craig. I know it does. I know it seems like a very long time. But when you look at the NBA and you look at the NFL, they're drafting men that are ready to play. They're men. They're ready to jump into a lineup that next season. The NHL is just not like that, and they're physically not ready to play. They're young men playing against grown men, and they're just not physically ready. So I
In a physical
love the
game
slower,
too, right? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So you want to see the slower development, the slower pace, and I think in the long run, that benefits the player. I know the kids want to play. I know they want to be in the NHL, but over time, that development year means a lot. And I really hope Dylan Guenther's the perfect example because he has done a lot of things in junior, but I still think there's more to do there. Could he benefit from a year in the American League? Probably. The pace isn't as fast as it is in the NHL, and you might be able to learn some things, learn habits of a pro there.
Yes.
But there's nothing to say that Dylan Guenther can't go there the year after.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be time for
You're scaring
Dylan Guenther.
people now, but I completely agree with you there.
There's going to be time for Dylan Guenther to play in the National Hockey League.
Give him some time in the A.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yep.
Why not bring him along slowly, let him learn the game? I think too often fans get crazy about this stuff. Like, why isn't he here yet? Like, have you not learned your lesson from the Coyotes past with how many prospects they rushed?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Make extra sure. Like they always talk about, overbake.
Yeah.
Overbake. Make absolutely sure this guy's ready.
And a lot of franchises can do that because they have the luxury of they've got more
Mhm.
players. They've got people above them that they're not giving up their jobs yet. And unfortunately, here in Arizona, there's been so many times when that's not the case, that they need a body, and they need a body that can play. So you see those players, Kyle Turris, but we talked about Bodker, Tikhonov, Mueller, Chris
Tons of examples.
Kalanos. Like the list is quite long on guys that probably started a little bit earlier. Did it impair their growth and development? Well, yeah. I think it did. Kyle Turris could have used another year in college, probably. But at the time, the thought process was, got to get him here. He'll develop more in the NHL. So, yeah, I think this is so encouraging. We've said this about Bill Armstrong all the way along. They've got a plan, and they seem to be sticking to the plan. And it is hard to stick to this plan because people get impatient. Owners get impatient. Players get impatient. Fans get impatient. And when everybody starts putting that pressure on you and a general manager, it's hard to stay patient.
Yeah.
Stick with the course. We're all on board. We all understand the process and how it's going to work and what it's going to take. Let's just hope they continue down this path. And that means developing players longer than you think. It means getting good draft picks in multiple years. And it means taking your time to do it the right way. So let's hope the patience continues for this organization.
Yeah, it seems in our chat at least that people are managing their expectations about not wanting to win right away. And Nicholas pretty much said what you said, Petey, but call me crazy. But this management staff really feels like they're in reality and they'll stick with the plan, even if this team happens to overachieve in the next year or two. Keep the faith. And then Albert saying, it's better to set aside the winning for the future. And that's kind of what you just alluded to with Dylan Guenther. Like, you don't need to bring him in right away. The winning isn't the priority right now.
We had fun last year. Like,
Yeah.
didn't we? Like, there were moments. I was here, and there were some misery moments. That first 12 games was hard.
And that last
Yeah.
stretch of 10 was hard too.
But you had the East Coast trip. You had the ending stretch.
And a lot of individual achievements that we
can still have
saw.
individual
Yeah.
stories and individual fun, and we get it. One team won the Stanley Cup. One. That's it. 31 don't.
Yeah.
You're just one of the 31 that didn't.
Yeah, it's like really honestly the same playing field as everybody else. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Arizona Coyotes both did not win the Stanley Cup this
100%.
year.
But no, you're right, and it's hard to grasp that, but you're right.
Yeah.
And 16 teams are all done the same day, and does it matter then? No. We had those moments. We're building towards that end goal, and it's just
true.
going to take time. So enjoy the little wins, the individual wins, the team wins along the way, and hopefully someday we're sitting at a parade down
On
Mill
Mill
Avenue.
Avenue.
You know, I'm done with Van Buren. I get it. It's Mill Avenue.
Yeah,
Can't
we got to
be.
hype up the city of Tempe.
That's right.
Sorry, city
We
of
down
Phoenix.
University too, I guess.
Yeah. Did you see that parade?
People could stand on that bridge over
Did you
it.
see the parade in Denver?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Did you
amazing.
see Bo Byram?
Yeah, getting the cough.
Classic.
That was great.
No, you got to go back. No, really, I'm on the team. That's good stuff.
Oh.
I'm a real boy.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Pinocchio.
That was amazing. Oh Lord.
Sorry.
Well, we've talked really big picture, but let's talk about what's actually going down next week, which of course is the draft. And we also asked Bill Armstrong about that. We'll get to a little bit more specifics on that in a little bit, but I just want to remind everybody how many draft picks the Coyotes actually have next week. So we put it on a graphic. This is just this year's draft. So 3 picks in the first round, 4 picks in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth.
And hopefully none in the 7th.
And
Keep it that
hopefully-
way, please, Coyotes.
Yeah.
No 7th round picks.
I mean, just looking at this, it's absolutely unbelievable to think about what they can do. And Bill kind of alluded to it this morning, and as he has in the past, but because especially in that second round with all those picks so close together, you can possibly take a gamble on somebody who might take a little bit more time to develop. Maybe someone who's injured right now, maybe somebody who's overseas and is going to be there for a few more years. You can take that risk because you have all these picks, so you don't have to say this is our only second round pick. We have to make sure this is, this sort of player, that this is going to be a player who steps in the lineup in 2 years. They can really make long-term investments with these numbers.
Optionality.
Yeah.
It's what a former
you
GM
think
who we
they're
don't
gonna-
name on this show called it.
To put their table close to the front. Can you imagine how sick people? And here's Bill Armstrong with the Coyotes again.
Right.
Like, that stretch in the second round.
Just give him a seat up on
And
the
you-
stage.
Well, I was even
Seriously,
gonna
just,
say for
just
the-
hang out up here.
Just
You know,
stay here.
But
stay.
even for the first round, because they have pick 27 and
funny.
pick 32, and then it's like, yeah, and then the whole procession goes up because it's a bunch of people from the team. It's like, oh, here we are waiting for.
just Coyotes, just stand in the back.
Wonder if
They have a golf cart driving.
They can have the watch on, measuring their steps that day. It's gonna be crazy.
Gosh, yeah.
It is. You look at the picks from 27 to 45, and the Coyotes are there a lot.
Yeah.
Well, more than any other team in the history of the game. So
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be people that are not Coyotes fans are going to be awful annoyed. And on the clock is the Arizona Coyotes. Like, what? we Colorado doesn't even have a pick, and Arizona has 7. Anyway,
oh man.
Yeah, one of the Coyote scouts was saying that to me when they go on the road this year. It's like, how many picks do you guys have now? Like, because it's always changing.
Yeah.
Bill keeps adding picks, and who knows what happens on draft day, right?
True. Yeah.
We'll see.
I know it's gonna be a blast. And we don't know what's gonna happen yet. We don't know what's gonna unfold. There's been so many conflicting reports. We'll get into that in just a second. But one of the things Bill said today, which was pretty funny, it's like, what do you do in these next few days? It's like, try to figure out what everyone else is going to do. And that's kind of the position you're in at pick 3, which is unique. And I think that it was funny that he even acknowledged that's pretty much their plan going forward, because they've put in all these months of scouting and I'm sure they have their list, but now who's on the board at 3 is determined by what Montreal and New Jersey does. So we will see. And you can actually start betting on the NHL draft.
Betting, interesting.
You can. I looked,
and
I'm going to.
And right now there's odds for a few different things. So you can bet on who's going to get selected first overall, which because there's no consensus, you can actually bet. Like there's some value in possibly not picking Shane Wright. Shane Wright's the only player right now who's minus money to go first overall, but if you feel a little risky, you can get some plus money, maybe for Slafkovsky or someone else. So you can bet on that on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You can also bet on draft position over and unders for a number of players.
Did you see those? They're tricky.
Yeah, they are.
That's where I'm going to play. I'm going to play in the draft over unders.
Like Logan Cooley, Nemec.
2.5.
Yeah, like 2.5. Nemec, I think, was 4.5 over under. So really interesting stuff on there when it comes to the draft. So you can already bet on it, which is awesome. So lock it in now, because as more stuff comes out over the next few days, odds are always going to be changing. That's what's so great about DraftKings too. They're really up to date on all of their odds. And also a non-hockey note, like you can bet on where Kevin Durant is going to end up. You can bet on where DeAndre Ayton's going to end up. Like it's not just scores and over-unders and player props. Like there's props like that too, which is really interesting and makes betting that much more fun. And tomorrow is the UFC 276, and DraftKings has a special offer for that as well. There's tons of ways to come out on top in the octagon, and for UFC 276, you can do so with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, the official sports betting partner of UFC. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any UFC 276 fighter to win and get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's code PHNX this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And now we're going to bring in Sean for his DraftKings pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the UFC. I don't know if any of you are big UFC people.
No.
Leah
I'm a pretty big UFC person, but we're getting a rematch between one of my favorite fights ever, between Max Holloway and Alex Volkanovski. Last time that fight happened, Volk won, but I think Holloway got robbed. Holloway's one of my favorite fighters, and you can get Holloway at plus money to win the fight. So I'm taking my DraftKings pick of the week is Max Holloway money line at plus 165 against Alex Volkanovski.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Wow.
I already have it locked in.
Plenty of ways to come out on top in the octagon, Leah said. I'm thinking there's no way I'm coming out on top of the octagon unless someone's carrying my dead body over their shoulder.
True. I'm barely going to make it out of the studio after eating the fake maple syrup in a little bit. Oh,
That's
my
coming.
gosh.
Karen asked, are we going to go about 3 hours on Thursday? Will the draft go about 3 hours? Is that you're anticipating? Not the show.
First round?
The draft. About 3 hours.
3-ish. Yeah, the first round is
Yeah.
3-ish.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe a little longer.
It's made for TV, so they're
32
really
picks
shooting-
now.
They're really shooting
Say.
for a 3 hour
Yeah.
mark. Okay.
Yep. 3
I
hours.
just want to know when I should get my Uber.
You already have your kilt
Just,
lifter.
pace
I'm
yourself,
ready.
buddy. Pace yourself with the
I
beer.
guess
Waffles and kilt
Could
lifter.
get
We-
really
yeah.
sloppy. Okay, so pace
Waffles and
yourself.
kilt lifter?
Well, we'll get to
No,
that.
no.
We still got to get through one more topic. Oh, he's already on the kilt lifter.
It's
Why not?
afternoon.
Literally, we were drinking at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, and we were at Four Peaks. So
I was gone for a month during this sponsorship thing, and I'm taking advantage.
good. I'm glad.
Fridge is full,
And that's your
and
favorite.
there's one less kilt
The
lifter.
kilt lifter is your favorite.
It is.
Yep.
I'm ready.
I drank a lot of peach on Wednesday at Four Peaks. It's really good right out of the tap too, I will say.
Yeah, so is WoW. Though I'm
Yeah,
really,
and by
really
the
big
way,
fan of WoW.
the bartender. So when you go to Four Peaks and there's a bar in the front where there's also a gift shop. So that bartender he's kind of like a mixologist, so you can have him mix beers.
I totally love that room.
And he was mixing like the Wow and peach schnapps or like blueberry sour. Oh my gosh, it was
with beer.
Yeah.
Huh.
All kinds of mixes with beer.
Maybe
Oh
we'll
my
start
gosh.
the show a little earlier.
Yeah. So
that's a good spot. Actually,
Yeah, so
that room is great.
check that out, and you can check that out if you come next Thursday to the PHNX draft party at 4 Peaks at 4 p.m. Come a little early because we'll actually be starting the show a little bit before that, but PD and Sean will be there. We've already confirmed some guests, which we'll announce early next week, I imagine.
Just got another one confirmed via text message, so
Oh.
the list is growing.
The list is growing of special guests. There'll be food and drink specials. There'll be giveaways. And of course, you'll be able to watch the draft show live. And yes, Karen, we will be live for the full 3 hours, probably even more, to kind of recap everything that happened. PD and Sean will be there. Craig and I will be dialing in from Montreal.
Hopefully.
Yes. Stop.
Air
Stop.
Canada. Looking at you,
Stop.
Air Canada.
You're going to put the bad
you're gonna
juju
make
out
bad
in the
juju.
universe.
Okay.
And by the way, anyone can come to the draft party. Just make sure you get a ticket online at gophnx.com under the events tab, or you can check out our Twitter for more info. And you have to be 21 and over to drink, not to come to 4 Peaks, just to drink, and be sure to enjoy responsibly if you do. All right. There's been a lot of conflicting mock drafts and rankings. It's the week leading up to the draft. Everyone's putting out their final lists, and there's some years where it's so clear who's going to be first, even second and third. This is not one of those years, and we've talked to a ton of draft experts over the last couple of months, and those draft experts that we've talked to have put out their lists. So here's a look at the rankings and mock drafts of 4 well-known, well-respected draft experts. Corey
we've had on the
Proman.
show.
Yeah, we've had all 4 on the show. Corey Proman, Chris Peters, Craig Button, and Bob McKenzie. And for those watching on YouTube, right away can see nobody's list is identical. So I will read them quickly. Corey Proman and Chris Peters did mock drafts. So Corey Pronman's mock draft, this is just 1 through 5. Slavkovsky 1, Juracek 2, Cooley 3, Wright 4. Cutter Gauthier 5. Chris Peters, this is his mock draft. Shane Wright 1, Slavkovsky 2, Cutter Gauthier 3 for the Coyotes, Logan Cooley 4, David Juracek 5. Craig Button, his final ranking. Shane Wright 1, Slavkovsky 2, Kemmel 3 for the Coyotes. Cooley 4, Nemec 5, and then Bob McKenzie, we touched on this the other day with him, but just to recap, Slavkovsky 1, Wright 2, Cooley 3, Nemec 4, Gauthier 5. So zero consensus.
Whew.
Zero consensus.
7 different players are in the top 5 across that board, and in one of those, the Coyotes pass on Shane Wright. Yeah, in what universe is that? We've been begging for Shane Wright for 9 months, and now
We've
we're
had
passing
the
on him?
hashtags.
We're passing on him. We're gonna pass. He's there. We're passing. I'm gonna take Corey Proman.
But it's just.
If Shane Wright's there at 3, the Coyotes
But
taking
the
Shane
crazy thing about those lists is those 4 are like, for me, synonymous with being a draft expert.
That tells you just how much disagreement there is over the top prospects. They're all so close. There's not consensus guys. Wright was that guy for a long time, but he underwhelmed. And again, I think there are factors, and we talked about that with Bob McKenzie. The guy missed a year of hockey, so it's going to have an impact on you. And I don't know how you factor that into the evaluation. I don't think anybody has a book on that because it's unprecedented. But that has impacted things, and all these guys are lumped together. So you hear from different scouts, so you get a different sense of what the draft is going to look like. I do think it's possible that New Jersey could take a defenseman at number 2 because they have a bunch of centers already. So I could see them going that route. Or maybe they trade out of it. Maybe they trade down, although, as I was told today, it just hasn't happened very often, teams trading out of number 1 or number 2.
Yeah. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I do think at this point, usually at this point, a week before the draft, that you go, okay, this guy's 1, this guy's 2, this guy's 3. And then from there, you get some, from 4 to 10, you get some disagreements based on teams' needs for by position or size. Those kind of things happen. But 1 through 3, usually a week before the draft, that's pretty well set. I swear, the longer this has gone, I have no idea. And we thought, it's Cooley for sure at 3. Well, but is it though?
We've been saying Cooley for weeks, but now it's like
It could be
Gautier's in the
Slavkovsky.
mix.
Slavkovsky could be there. And
It
you
could,
look
it could be Shane Wright.
It could be Shane
Could
Wright.
be Shane Wright.
The only one of those guys that I haven't written about. I didn't write about Juracek, and the Coyotes aren't taking Juracek.
Yeah.
But I've written about Wright, Gauthier, Cooley, and who did I just forget?
Slavkovsky.
Nemec.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I still think they need. I still believe the Coyotes are going to draft a forward at the number 3.
I do
still
too.
believe that.
In the end, I do.
But
too.
if they don't, would you be
shocked?
completely surprised?
No, like
and
at this point, nothing would surprise me.
Like it's not automatic that they're going to pick this guy. It's
What if
not.
What if they move down because they get an offer?
Again, could happen. Could happen. And again, there's so many like Cooley and Cutter Gauthier, like different players, different size, different speed, different skill levels that fill a different need. Both are going to be good players, and I think that's the difference too in this draft. These are good players.
Yep.
They're not great players. I don't think this. We've said it repeatedly, almost for years now. This isn't Connor McDavid.
Right. It's not like
They're good players.
Bob McKenzie said this to us. Is there a forward in this draft that's a top line player? Maybe not. They might be second line guys. Is there a defenseman that's a number 1 defenseman? Probably not. He said Nemec could be a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's
But again, you
it's
still
good
need those players to
You
win.
still need these guys.
You need
Yes.
them to win.
But
You need those, and Tampa was the example of drafting players in the 2nd through the 7th round that become core pieces to your puzzle. May not be your top end players, but they're still core pieces to get you where you're going. And I think that's what you're looking at from this draft.
And then when Austin Matthews comes home, you've got your elite center.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Well, we actually had the opportunity to talk to Bill Armstrong this morning about all these conflicting reports, and what he had to say was kind of interesting.
Listen, at the end of the day, some of those mock drafts are somebody sitting in their basement that didn't even watch hockey. They copy and paste. And there are a few mock drafts that are very accurate, and you have to decipher between the two. And again, it's information that you take in from your local area scouts to the few of the mock drafts that are accurate, and a vibe of what's going on the street. So it's like today you read something on Twitter, and it's about the Russians not being allowed to come over. You're taking in information, so that's what you do around this time, and put it all together and make your decisions.
He did acknowledge that some of them are accurate. We just don't
know which one.
Well, we have good sense. Like, listen, there are a lot of NHL mock drafts out there. How many of the people that are doing mock drafts are out there scouting?
Well, that's why I only talked about those
like
four.
Bob McKenzie said, talking to a lot of scouts and GMs. If your mock draft doesn't have either of those things behind it, I don't care about your mock draft because it's not informed. It's just at that point, it's just like whatever. It's like an exercise. Somebody sitting in their basement. Who cares what you think? There are a few out there that are based upon really good reporting, or in the case of guys like Proman and Peters, guys who get out and see players all the time, and they're sitting with scouts, so they're talking to them. Those are the ones to pay attention to.
Craig, we've talked about this. So you've got a Montreal Canadian team that was in the Stanley Cup Finals 2 seasons ago, and they are picking number 1 overall in their home building with an educated fan base that really expects this team to win, and they expect this team to pick Shane Wright.
They expect to pick number 1 too.
Yeah.
You don't trade out of the number 1
They're not
spot.
trading.
They're not trading
when
on
you're
the
hosting the
no,
draft.
They're not trading.
And can you imagine at Centre Bell, and I have to say it like
Centre Bell.
the Bell
Centre
Center.
Bell.
They're at the Bell Center. So can you imagine that fan base when they pick Juraj Slavkovsky?
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
I think that's real.
Boo.
Imagine. How about the poor kid, right?
Yeah, getting booed.
Day of
at
his life
Centre Bell,
and
you're
he gets
getting
booed.
So I still believe whatever the mock drafts may say and who's gained and lost ground, I still think it's Shane Wright going number 1.
Yeah.
And I guess
And then the Devils would take Slavkovsky number 2 because he's a wing. So
that's
you're
what
okay with that.
that's what
And
we've
then-
said for a month.
Then you're
We've said that for a
deciding
month.
between 3 players.
We've said that for a month.
But you know what? We sat here a month and a half ago watching the draft lottery, and we're like kind of crushed by the Coyotes getting 3rd. But I think this might be
Feels it's
like
not
a great
necessarily a
position
bad
to
thing.
be in
might
this
be.
year. I think
Yeah.
it's a great position for
Yep.
them to be in. And obviously, Bill acknowledged they'll have to see what happens at 1 and 2. But that's why the work this week is kind of to get a sense of what everyone's gonna end up doing. Knowing what I know about the scouting staff based on what we've heard and what Craig has written and reported and what we've talked to Bill Armstrong about, like I have faith and trust that they're going to know what they're doing. And I've seen some sentiment on Twitter, at least this week, like the Coyotes in the past, have tended to go off the boards. Like they're picking who when this person was ranked
Been
here.
a few of those occasions. Blake Wheeler, Barrett Hayton, Victor Soderstrom.
Blake Wheeler had me thumbing through my guide. Like, who? And I'm from Minnesota. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
By the way, do you see Rick? Rick's commenting from Canada.
Oh my gosh! Happy Canada Day, Rick.
Rick from Canada said
What's
a
up,
lot
Rick?
of comments. He thinks definitely Shane Wright. And I think
Thanks for spending your Canada Day with us, because normally right now Canadians would be watching the free agency special, but
there is no.
That's
free
okay.
Not this year.
Rick, you're here to watch Leah eat trash maple syrup, aren't you?
I know. That's
what this is
exactly
all
Yeah,
about.
he's
the
works
guy.
for the Canadian government, and
They're monitoring.
he's tagging my passport right
Yeah.
now.
I swear that
That's
might
right.
be it.
That's
That's the tinfoil hat theory.
By the way,
What's
should
the
we?
Canadian FBI? Like, do they have an FBI?
I don't know.
Do you have like a because like as a dual citizen, do you have like an FBI agent that's watching you and
don't
a
know.
Canadian
Listen,
FBI agent that's
I don't
watching you?
know.
They have the Mounties. I saw it.
Yeah.
Wait, Dudley Do Right? Yeah. No,
Should we put the toasters in the
Oh, no.
waffle while?
Yeah. we should because that could
Because
take.
so that-
Are we going to
I'm
do
on
this?
it.
Yes.
This could take a while.
So yeah, let's get the
It could
toasters.
take a while. I hope it doesn't take a while.
Well, there's only 2 slots.
Wait, first of all, let's
Slots
just present
28.
the brand, because you didn't go trash on the waffles, which was kind of you, by the way.
It's Safeway
Safeway
signature.
Select.
Select, at least it's
Signature
select. I mean, he didn't get Kroger. He
Wait,
didn't get.
He couldn't have got.
He didn't get the
Kroger.
brand
But he
of
didn't get
syrup that we
Eggos.
got.
I did
Yeah,
not
well-
get
Did you want Eggos?
No, don't. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
announce the syrup brand yet,
Not yet. No,
because
no,
we're just getting the waffles ready. We're
It's
just
gonna smell. It's gonna smell really good.
It's gonna
I'm
smell
starving.
amazing.
You guys are gonna
Waffle
eat these
beers.
waffles, aren't you? Yeah.
100%.
CSIS maybe.
100%.
Sean can't wait for these waffles.
CSIS is what it's called.
There you go.
The Canadian.
CSIS.
Canadian people.
I thought that was
Intelligence.
just like another
I don't know.
CSI
Didn't know they had
program.
I didn't know. Mounties?
CSI Saskatchewan. Is that what it is?
Can you imagine? It's just like the police sitting around waiting for something to happen. It's just the stories of them sitting in their break
We're
rooms.
drinking,
CSI
well,
Sault
I'm
Ste.
drinking
Marie.
beer, eating waffles at noon at work.
What a job we have at PHNX.
Seriously.
And I'm talking about the draft.
I will give it
Okay.
up for that. It's
Yes,
true.
please.
Yeah,
Okay.
amazing.
I'm okay.
Yeah, it's a great place to work, and it's a great place to become a member of our family, which you can do at gophnx.com. Becoming a member of the family gets you access to all of the written content behind the paywall, all the video content behind the paywall, and there's a lot of it right now
Mhm.
for the draft. Dropped a Barrett Hayton interview yesterday, and he talks about more than just his draft day. It's called First Round Flashback, looking at the draft, but it's about more
Talk
than
about
that.
his suit.
Yeah, talked about his suit on draft day, talked about his off-season training, where he is right now, his time with the Coyotes so far. So lots of great stuff in there. We have prospect breakdown videos, more coming early next week, so it's not stopping. And then also becoming a member gets you access to the members-only Discord, deals at the PHNX Locker, and when you sign up for an annual membership, you can get a shirt from the Locker or a hat if you want, or you can try your first month just 50 cents month to month. Craig, in honor of Canada Day, dropped a scouting series story on the Canadian amateur scouting staff.
Yep, that's up today, and then of course the American staff completes the series on the 4th of July. So, but interesting stuff to that. Like, got to talk to Randy Hanch, who was one of the architects behind the Oil Kings' rise. 4 straight division titles, might have been 3 straight Memorial Cups had COVID not canceled it. But he's an interesting guy, and another one of those guys with just such a breadth of experience to bring onto this staff that already has a number of those guys who've not just been scouts for a long time, but have been in different roles, so they bring different perspectives. So it was interesting talking to them, also getting a sense of what things look like in Canada this year. We've heard this. Chris Peters said it to us. This could be a down year for the OHL. They could have a historically low number of draft picks. We'll see how that plays out in the end. But on the flip side, the area where Randy Hanch and Kevin Peterson scout, Western Canada, the WHL could have a banner year this year. So interesting talking to those guys. And like you said, that story's up on the site.
We have multiple Safeway employees in our comments.
Seriously?
Christina said I work for Safeway, and then Sean, can you scroll up a little on the comments? The Safeway employee, I thank you for buying Safeway brand.
I'm all about my local
Hashtag
Safeway.
Nothing
not
wrong with
sponsored.
Safeway Select, by the way.
Yeah, no,
I love
Nothing
my
wrong with
Safeway.
that.
Oh
There you
my
go.
gosh,
Every
that's
day.
so funny.
I literally shop
Also, Javi, happy Canada Day from
are we
Mexico.
making her eat 2? Oh,
We have
wow.
all of the countries of North
All
America
over the place.
represented. I'm just,
I think Leah should get her waffles while they're hot at least.
These are a little brown.
could,
Is that
Are you-
prepared right
Last
for you,
cook,
or do you want those to go to
no,
Sean?
that's fine. It's fine. I'm
Do you
already
like
gonna
that, Sean?
suffer.
Like, if they're overcooked, do you want them to go to Sean?
Oh God, I'm nervous. This is the big
Here
reveal.
it is. What's the brand?
What is that?
Value Corner original pancake syrup.
What?
The value corner.
Can I see this
Oh
bottle?
my god!
Can I see this? The Value Corner.
Value
I'm
corner.
going to read a
It's original
little
pancake
bit
syrup,
about
though.
the Value Corner. First of
It's
all,
the value corner. Like, it's value.
Do I need to get a bucket for you, Leah? Like,
And
is
they're
there a
at the
chance
corner.
that you throw up?
It's a value corner syrup. By the way, for those working at Safeway, this would be the cheapest syrup available at Safeway. So if you're looking for a good,
How much did you pay
Value-
for this?
I paid under $2.
Under two?
And that wasn't on sale.
this is distributed by Better Living Brands in Pleasanton, California. Okay. I've
Okay,
never heard-
California, known for its maple syrup.
They're known-
Ingredients. Number one ingredient.
Corn
What would you
syrup.
guess?
Corn syrup.
Corn syrup.
There you go.
Number 2 ingredient. High fructose corn syrup.
That's number 2. We got that covered.
3, water.
It's the Safeway discount brand, Christina said.
Well, there you go.
Here's-
Christina knows.
Contains 2% of less of natural flavors.
I'm gonna cry.
So does not Canadian
This is
true
great.
maple syrup.
Caramel color.
Let's get her going. then.
Potassium
Right.
sorbate, which is a preservative, of course, and citric acid. There you go. So it's basically all corn syrup.
Let her pour it.
Ooh.
No, you guys have to pour it because I'll pour.
Here you go, buddy. Drown
Do you
it.
want these ones or you like the ones that are coming out hot?
I'll take the ones that are coming out hot now.
Drown
If
it.
I
You
have
have to drown it.
If I
You gotta
have to
drown
eat this, I might as well do it with a hot waffle.
Do you want just a shot glass?
Blech, that wasn't part of the promise.
The
we
best.
sit there and talk about
Throwing
this.
it out there.
Where do you think that's going to end up at the end of the
Can
show?
I see that? Does it need the little tab
In the
pulled out
trash.
the
I already
inside?
pulled it off.
Look at you
There you
coming
go.
prepared.
Yeah, where do you think
buddy.
it's going to end up?
What do I
Where
think?
is this going to go when
Your
the show's
house.
over?
Trash.
No.
Your house.
You're taking it home?
Well, yes.
Who are you feeding that to?
Well, me. What?
What?
What's wrong with little Value Corner original pancake syrup?
Buddy, we get your
Buddy, I'm just saying.
your dinner photos with grilled salmon and asparagus tips. Okay?
Yeah,
Listen,
Chris
I'm on
said-
your
What you
side,
eat.
Petey. I'm on your. I grew up on this.
Yeah,
kind of
maybe we
stuff.
should give
yeah,
it to
yeah.
Sean.
By the way, Sean, how are you feeling about Leah? Bad mouthing. What is it called? The Value Corner.
Well, we don't have Safeway
No,
in Buffalo,
you
so
have to
I
do
never
it.
had Value
But
Corner
hold up the
exactly.
plate on camera.
Crispy. I don't want to.
Sean, would you have turned down this syrup if you had the chance as a kid?
No, because this is basically just a West Coast version of the stuff that I had as a kid. So
Of course.
See,
Okay, but you have to hold up the plate so everyone can see you
I
pouring it.
understand the concept of TV.
drown it, buddy.
The best way to eat these like frozen things is to turn the
Oh.
waffles into mush with the syrup.
Well, no, you gotta get.
You gotta. Oh, buddy. Yeah, look at you're trying to fill every square.
Well, yeah, you gotta fill every.
I used to my breakfasts used to listen, Leah. The best way to eat this. Don't
Careful,
even get
Leah.
a fork.
This
You
is going
gotta
on your
fold it.
shirt.
You gotta fold it into a taco. Fold it into a maple syrup taco.
Okay,
That's what my kids do, actually.
Yeah,
This
that's how
is-
I ate it when
so
I was a
this
kid.
is how much maple syrup I
Oh
would put
my
on if
God.
it was the pure maple syrup.
This is not pure.
This is
I'm
not
going-
pure.
I'm going-
It's less than 2%.
I'm going Sean DePaz style.
Yeah. Does Sean have his waffles yet?
They're in. Okay. I like how you started eating before I even
Literally
took my.
starving.
What do you think of these waffles?
For the people on audio, sorry if you have a chewing phobia, just turn
Well,
this
is-
off right
by the
now.
way, for the audio, this is a great audio episode right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally chew right into
All
that
right,
mic. Okay.
Here we go. Oh God. I'm
Here
gonna
it is.
Throw up.
Come on, put it in the mouth. You want me to hold your hair back so like you don't have syrup in your hair?
Gutting reflex.
I will say this: it barely tastes like syrup. Like barely.
Of course not. It's,
Oh my God.
it's syrup only on the label.
All right, here we
Read
go.
the ingredients.
I can't do it. I can't stop laughing.
She's getting hives right now. Like, look at her neck.
Her hair's going in that syrup. It's gonna be a mess.
Oh my God.
There is very little.
Oh, Sean, your waffles are up.
You're good, right? DP?
All right, here I go.
Like I can dump it, right?
Oh yeah, just drench it.
There's knife and fork.
Nothing about that is maple.
Are you gonna have some, Chris?
Of course.
There's tears
Support
coming.
the team.
There's tears coming out of my eyes.
You still haven't had a bite, by the way.
I had a bite.
Did you? Okay,
It's
let
on
me see
camera.
it. Wait,
Rewind the
I gotta
tape.
watch.
Okay.
And there it is.
I will say this:
Clip that.
this does not scream maple syrup breakfast.
Nothing about this is maple.
No.
Yeah, there was nothing on it that said maple.
It just says
Except for-
pancake syrup.
Right? Pancake syrup. Like,
I
what?
think I don't think they're legally allowed to call it maple syrup.
Probably not. Yeah,
This
that's a
is
good thing.
I will say this:
Truth in advertising.
for people that watch PHNX, and there are a lot of people here today, like our friend from Canada, that don't watch the show. This is the kind of content you get when you tune into PHNX. Like,
How
this
much
is-
of this am I required to eat?
You're seriously
Well,
Did
done?
Craig not eat an entire hot dog and drink an entire
Okay,
IPA?
I'll eat one entire waffle. I'm not eating both.
That's fair.
Okay.
One waffle down.
You got to just
I don't know.
stack them on top
Actually,
of
maybe
each
we
other.
should throw this out to the audience.
Oh, God.
There are 2 waffles on Leah's plate.
No.
How much of
Just don't spill it.
this meal should
I'm-
Leah have to eat? What do
I
you guys
just
think?
say that a normal frozen waffle breakfast is 2 waffles
It really is.
stacked on top of each other.
What
You
is
cut them at the
serving
same
size
time.
on the box?
Of waffles?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, were you? Wait, did you eat Eggos or did you eat something else growing up?
It was Eggos, I think. I think
I
I
ate
was
Eggos.
fortunate enough to have Eggos. I was a
Look
big
at
blueberry
Leah's face,
waffle
like,
guy.
Oh, see those? Yeah, I agree there. Did you ever eat anything other than syrup on your waffles?
If we were out of syrup, I'd just put butter on them, I guess.
Butter would be a thing. Whipped cream would
I
be
do
a
But
thing.
not like butter
otherwise,
on my
no.
waffles.
At
Peanut butter.
the diner,
Whipped cream.
when I got like a real Belgian waffle, I would go like
Jelly.
I'd go
Chocolate syrup.
strawberries and whipped cream.
All right.
Would you like me to pour it from my plate
No,
onto
no,
yours?
Yeah,
No,
right.
you barely have enough.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Look, you
Look,
skimmed.
Leah, soak it up.
You
No,
skimped
why would
on
I
the
want
syrup
to
there.
soak
This is
it?
so delicious. I love this. This is a trip down memory lane. I haven't had this since I was a kid. No, I am very much into this. I love it.
God.
Can we do it like more beer and waffles?
Like
please?
half our show today is going to be us eating waffles.
Okay, and
with-
it's the weekend,
With
so can we
value
talk about
corner.
People
what
are
we
s-
eat? Can we talk about the
Value
weekend?
corner.
binge?
People are saying to give my other one to you, PD. And Nicholas said, "Sorry, Leah, it's got to be both." Nicholas, come on.
Can we talk about our weekend binge while we're doing this?
Sure,
we
I don't
can,
have one.
actually.
I don't have one planned, but you can go.
What? PD doesn't have a
I
graphic,
didn't do
or
a
did you?
graphic. I was told
Okay,
not to
that's
do a
good.
graphic.
Well,
anymore,
you didn't
so-
have it prepared immediately.
You're washing
so-
this down with Kilt Lifter.
Yeah, kilt lifter and waffles with great value corner original maple syrup.
The best thing about this is the Kilt Lifter.
This is a working man's breakfast.
And I did it by hand. Like
Here we go.
Sean, I'm not kidding. We're gonna eat them all, right? Like I'm. All,
I could easily eat like
You can
3
have
or
my
4
second
more.
one. I'm only committing to eating one, but I will eat the full one. I
Can I
promise.
This
just
is,
commend the
like-
3 of us, by the way, for supporting Leah by actually eating these? Because I didn't get any support when I had to
Can
eat
we
my hot dog with
commend me
ketchup.
for doing something that I said I would do,
Yeah.
PD?
PD promised to
That's what
dance
I'm
in like
What are you saying?
1987, and
When are
still
you
hasn't
gonna
happened.
dance?
I used to dance back in 1987.
That
I'd
doesn't-
be the first guy.
That
on the
was
floor.
years
It's a true
before
story.
I was alive.
I don't even know what to call that flavor.
Mm.
I guess I just call it.
Yeah, it
corn
does
syrup.
not taste like maple syrup. There's
No.
no maple. It doesn't say maple on it. Yeah,
It says-
I'm
It
having
says
more.
pancake syrup, whatever that is.
It's funny because I grew up with this be like when I had real maple syrup for the first time, I was like, "What is this?"
So people tuning in right now are like, "Yeah,
What's going on?
we're done. Like we're making the whole box." Sean, you're gonna have more. Like I'm.
Oh, I'll
starving.
100%
There's
eat
more
like,
people in the office too.
Yeah, well, they're done. This is it. Box is
You know what my
empty.
sisters used to
Oh.
do with Eggos? They would butter them, and then they'd sprinkle sugar all over them.
I don't know if I have a problem with that.
that sounds
Yeah.
delicious. I was a big Cheerios and sugar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Mhm.
This is what happens when you grow up poor. You
So my
find ways
weekend
to make
binge?
breakfast good.
I'm going with The Old Man on FX right now. It's on DirecTV Stream, YouTube TV on FX. It's called The Old Man with Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow.
I want to watch this.
By the
I
way,
love
really
Jeff
good.
Bridges.
I ate one full one. Okay.
It's really good. Sean, I'm gonna pass this to you.
It tastes like cardboard, by the way.
Sorry, Safeway.
Sorry, Safeway.
I do
sold it.
like Safeway.
It's about it's like Jason Bourne and any of those guys, James Bond. It's like that, except if they were 70 and had mild onset dementia. No, I swear to God, I'm not kidding. It's called The Old Man. He was, and now he's on the run. He got away, and he's been in Jeff Bridges have been living a quiet life, and now they found him again. So he's got to go on the run, but he really does have some issues as an old man.
I really want to watch the show.
Unbelievable
actually, so-
show. I've seen
Okay.
2 episodes, watched them last night. John Lithgow's been great. I don't know where it's headed or what it's going, but he's got that.
Syrup.
He's still tough like
Pancake
James
syrup.
Bond. It's really interesting, and we'll see where it goes from there. So I'm going with The Old Man.
How deep
on
are you
FX.
into the show?
2 episodes in.
Okay.
And it's on right now. Episode 5 was
syrup.
actually on last night. So that's where I'm at with my
you
my
go.
weekend binge.
I think Leah should take this bottle home.
I will throw it out of my car on the freeway.
So, are you seriously not binging anything right now, other than this syrup?
No, I haven't had time to watch TV lately, so I haven't.
Honestly,
so
let's
no,
see.
I
Let's
haven't.
finish it. Let's get rid of
I'm
it. I'll
trying
eat
to
it.
think. I'm gonna binge the second half of the Stranger Things Season 4 dropped today.
Today.
Yeah, at midnight.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm gonna binge this weekend. I forgot about
We're
that.
on the same boat then. Well, I'll call you during it. So we can
Perfect.
compare notes. I'll be with my kids.
Perfect.
The other thing that I am binging, and I think everybody is aware of this now because I tweeted the quintessential Chicago scene the other day about hot dogs. Did you see this? Did you not see this scene?
No.
Oh my God. You're just ignoring my Twitter.
Sorry, I don't.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to your tweets.
So it's called The Bear. And I'm not going to give away too much. It's about a high-end chef who actually comes back to basically his neighborhood in Chicago. It is a very Chicago series, first of all. It's really true to that identity, including what belongs and doesn't belong on a hot dog, which is the scene that I tweeted from the movie. It was fantastic, or from the series. But it's really good.
Okay.
The Bear is really good, and it's
FX
offbeat.
one on
Yeah, it's
Hulu?
offbeat. It's at times really frenetic. The dialogue, the writing, incredible. I love it so far. So that's what I'm going to be binging along with Stranger Things.
I'm doing Stranger Things too, but someone just said The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
If you haven't done that and you're into Marvel and superheroes, The Boys is unreal. It might be the best take on superheroes that I've ever seen. It's really good. 'Cause they humanize them a little more on the real. It's not Superman like I'm all good. It's like I have these powers, and you know what? I might take advantage of it, and I might do some things for me. So The Boys is an unbelievable TV show.
Well, I need to download some stuff for our plane ride next week. So
Wait, aren't you going to be sitting up in like first class in Air Canada where they
they
bring you
serve me
slippers
pure
and-
maple syrup in
Not
a
anymore. They're
cup?
not.
they're
Just-
like live theater
Air
performances
Canada
for
just
you?
scratched her right now. She's back by the bathroom. middle
Probably
seat.
after this.
Yeah, after this, I'm put on a watch list, a
Exactly.
government watch
They're
list.
gonna
They're gonna
give
pull me off the plane. Oh
Hmm.
my gosh.
CSIS is going to be waiting for you in Montreal.
CSIS. Now that we know about that,
I wonder if your Canadian bank account has been frozen.
I don't listen.
Leah has a Canadian bank account as well.
I don't know what to say.
Canadian money you guys can take. I feel like $40.
Sure,
There you go.
buy us our Tim Hortons one
Literally
morning.
does
There
nothing
you go.
for me.
I can't wait to have a Tim
Oh,
Hortons
you
breakfast
brought, look at
sandwich.
Pete. He brought wet wipes.
Dad mode activated.
Seriously, exactly.
I come prepared for all
Mhm.
eventualities.
Oh my gosh.
That
All
was
right.
really, really good.
That was really, really bad.
I so thoroughly enjoyed that. 4 waffles
It was
down.
not
Could
really
eat another box if I
Thank
wanted
you.
to.
We're not going to lie about this. It was not
Sean
really
had
good.
4.
I
I
know.
genuinely enjoyed it.
I went with 3.
I had 2.
I need to get out of this room and I need to go to our fridge in the PHNX office and chug a 4-piece beer.
Right.
Can you believe
I just feel like I ate really absorbent cardboard with corn syrup poured over the top
I'm
of
good.
it. That's
My
pretty much
mouth.
what it tasted like to me.
I need to like go brush my teeth.
It's got a little sticky after thing, yeah. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
All right.
You got
That
a,
might be on the tongue.
you
for
got a
while.
blade I can scrape my tongue with?
The great
Yeah,
value corner.
I'm not feeling very good right now. Just gonna say, but
So the first
I
half hour,
did
the
it.
hockey fans listened and they enjoyed it. Right?
I hope
They have
so.
since left and moved on, right? Which is fine. We're good with that. It's Friday.
it's Friday.
It is
fun
Friday.
Day. It's
Friday fun day.
we're not gonna have fun. Well, we will have fun, but not in the same relaxed way next Friday because we will be
gonna
covering
be
the
crazy.
draft. Here's what's going down next week, everybody. Here's our schedule. So Monday we'll be off for 4th of July. Enjoy.
Although I will have that story.
Yes, the story will be dropping, but no shows.
We have the
that
day off?
No shows. on
No
Monday.
show on Monday.
Okay, like that.
Everybody
Good plan.
enjoy the day with your friends and family. Tuesday, Craig and I will be on the way to Montreal.
Jacob
and
Franklin as well.
Jacob, who
our
is, by the
producer.
way, 6'7" and somehow has to sit on an airplane all day. So,
And right now has a middle seat, which he needs to change.
yeah.
Just
Well,
saying.
if he wants to trade with me, I'll hear his offers. But that.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll have an audio episode dropping. It'll probably be late Tuesday night. It might even be the wee hours of Wednesday morning.
But if you, it
Mm.
might be from the airport in Denver.
can you
Don't say
stop?
that.
By the way,
Buddy.
by the way, because I spent a lot of time in that airport, under construction.
Ugh, don't
Not
talk
a
to
fun
me.
There's
airport.
also
Nope.
conspiracies about it.
Not to be yeah, there are lots. Read about them, and it's all underground and all that
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
Not a fun airport to be stuck in right now.
Okay,
Nope,
can
I've
you
been stuck there.
can we
Nope.
stop putting this out in the universe?
Just saying.
It's a great layover airport to make your flight on time.
Yeah, you can't leave the airport because you have to drive 45 minutes to get anywhere.
Fair.
But go ahead.
So
Sorry.
we'll have an audio episode after
Leah's,
Tuesday
Leah's not happy with me.
So you're
My
doing it
negative
when you get
attitude
there,
here.
or when you're stuck at the airport.
Stop.
Either or, you're doing it.
on Tuesday. on Wednesday.
So
we are going to make it
I'm
to
not gonna be on that show
Montreal.
on Tuesday.
We are going to be
We're going to
there.
record that pod from our Airbnb
Yes.
late at night.
Yes.
Bleary, but we'll discuss our adventures.
So I got 2 days off. Well, 4.
Sure.
I like the plan
Yeah,
so far.
Craig and I are going to
So far, this plan is perfect.
go around
Okay.
Montreal on Wednesday. We'll have a show. Times to be determined. We'll let you know on our Twitter
I'll be live.
next week.
On
We'll
Wednesday?
be live on Wednesday
Okay.
from our Airbnb in the evening. It'll be nighttime in Montreal, so it might be like evening,
Afternoon here.
Yeah,
evening or
we'll
afternoon
see.
here. And then Thursday, of course, is day
draft.
1 of the draft. That starts at 4 o'clock Arizona time. Our show will be starting at 3:45 Arizona time on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you're in town, come out to Four Peaks in Tempe.
Join Petey
Join
Yeah, do
Petey.
it.
And
It's gonna
Sean.
be a blast.
Chicken fingers are
and at
electric.
least 3 special guests now.
And chicken fingers are electric.
The chicken
Oh,
fingers are
see?
so good.
And I took
Now you
home
all
the-
understand what I was
I
talking
took home the
about.
chicken barbecue pizza.
The
for
8th
dinner
Street
that night.
chicken strips.
Money.
Yeah.
The food there is good.
The food's
Yes, it
good.
is.
The
And the
drinks
beer's
are
better.
good. The company's good.
Yeah, good. Excited.
PHNX
Really excited about it.
personalities will be
Really
there.
excited about the draft because we don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Yep.
Sorry,
Yep.
that's Thursday.
It's going to be so much fun. And then Friday.
All kinds of bar food there, including pizza, which some people think is bar
Is
food.
that bar food?
I mean,
Is that a
it's
menu
it's,
item?
Not really.
Yeah,
it's a food served at a bar. Plus, the most popular bar in my college had pizza, and it was a big deal. So
Okay.
All right. That could be a whole other show.
It was.
a
I
whole
mean,
other.
it was dingy upstate
actually
New York.
was a whole
but,
other
yeah,
show.
just saying.
It was.
It was. And
parts
then,
of upstate are dingy. I'm from Western New York.
And then on Friday, rounds 2 through 7 start at 8 a.m. Arizona time. We'll be going live probably around, what did we decide?
3-ish?
3 o'clock Arizona time.
Yeah, because of the second day of the draft goes like 5+ hours.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Lord.
And there are interviews. Then we got to get back to our Airbnb,
So,
get set up, and
needless to say, subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we're live. Follow us closely on Twitter at PHX_Coyotes because not only will we have all our show information, but we'll have tons of draft content, exclusive video, and follow PHNX Sports on Instagram. We'll be doing an Instagram story takeover in Montreal next Wednesday. So PHNX Sports across all platforms, PHNX Coyotes on Twitter, tons and tons and tons of draft content coming to you next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
can I promote all my stories too?
Yes.
If I can remember them all?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Because they're going to be like at least 7. No, it's probably going to be like 9 stories next week. Sunday is just a general draft preview, like looking at what the Coyotes can accomplish. Finally, we're here. We've arrived at this moment. Monday, of course, as we mentioned, July 4th, is the final in the scouting series looking at the U.S. staff. Tuesday, I will look at 5 players that the Coyotes could select at number 3. Wednesday is going to be more of a Coyotes draft. Basically, everything you need to know about the draft. Chatter about other teams. Chatter about everything that's happening around the draft. Thursday's day 1 coverage, which could include not only the first pick at number 3, but then those other 2 first-round picks that they have at 27 and 32. And it might even include some coverage of Jacob Chikrin, depending on what happens. So I may write 3 stories that day. The following day, I'll have a look at the picks on day 2. I'm not sure what I'm going to write about that. And then on Saturday, I'll have a column basically wrapping up everything that they accomplished. So a lot of written content.
And we will also
coming from
have
the
an
draft.
audio episode Saturday morning.
Yes,
kind
we
of
will.
Looking just sigh, letting it out. We made it through the week.
Without
Here's what
Petey.
happened.
That
Without
Petey.
Petey.
Because
Again?
you two will be at the Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yep.
won't
So
be.
that's what you have to look forward to next week. A lot of stuff.
Busy week.
And
Content.
that's not even including any trades that might go down that we don't even know.
Yeah,
By the
any
way,
other news
let's
that
just
might
say
break.
this too, but shout out to Leah. You have no idea
Yes.
the kind of work she's put in behind the scenes, and Sean too. Like, you guys have,
Yeah.
our draft coverage is going to be unbelievable. I have worked for a lot of outlets. I have covered the NHL draft. I have covered the Coyotes, as you all know, for a very long time. Our coverage this week will be the best coverage I've ever been a part of, without question.
You know, hats off to Leah and Sean. It's amazing the amount of work they've done to prepare for what we're going to do this week.
Yeah,
I just want to say that the amount of work, the amount of work that I've done pales in comparison to what Leah's done. She is
Thank you.
putting the company on her back.
Okay, I'll take
Yeah.
the comment. Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in today. It's been so much fun. I can't wait for next week. I can't wait to talk to everyone in the Discord and on Twitter about everything going on. It's going to be a huge, huge, huge week for the future of this team. And like we talked about today, nothing groundbreaking is changing the franchise tomorrow, but this is laying the groundwork, and this is planting the seeds of that tree that's going to be watered for years to come. So that was really profound. Wow.
We need a tree graphic at some point.
Or like an animated.
Like all the players they take this year.
Animated tree graphic. I love it. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Canada Day. If you're Canadian, enjoy your 4th of July weekend. Be safe. We'll see everybody next week. And have a great weekend, everyone. Cheers.